One thing I always miss out on these videos are the toys, and that's mostly because it can be a bit difficult to find them stateside. But that's why you can use the sponsor of this video, JPfans. It's a proxy service where you can buy from Mercari, Amazon Japan, and others with no hassle. Just look at these prices. If only we were in Japan, right? But with JPfans, you may as well be buying this straight from the marketplace. While many sellers are secondhand, you still can't beat a lot of these prices. Honestly, sometimes I'd rather save a good chunk of money compared to traditional listings. Yes, boxes still could be included, depending on who you buy from. I've used several proxy sites before, but JPfans is the easiest so far. There was so much to choose from, I couldn't decide. So for my first order, I got some Kamen Rider drivers, and even a toy from Gavan Infinity. Purchases are consistently updated as they reach the warehouse, with pictures included, which is one of my favorite parts. Then once they're ready, you'll just pay for shipping and they'll be on their way. Speaking of which, you can always find coupons, specifically mine, so you don't have to worry about super expensive shipping either. Guys, I was browsing this for a couple of hours with all the things available only through Japanese sites. It's crazy how amazing this service is. Use my referral link in the description and Linktree below. There's an $85 coupon in it for you. Plus, you can show me what you bought and I'll happily showcase it in the future. Try JPfans now. And I'm being genuine, they're so good. On one fateful day, the history of Super Sentai met its end, and the Titans fell to their doom, using all their power to save the world. Then we cut to a mundane life at a convenience store, where a worker named Horu Tono is acting a bit monotone, just like this narration. But life is about to change as the store is getting held up, until the monotone clerk saves the day. Unfortunately, he gets fired. Huh? Now without a job, Horu is looking for ways to pay rent. Unluckily, life has other ways to kick him while he's down. His ex-coworker, Natsumi Susumi, wants to help. Horu slowly makes friends with Natsumi, who wishes to be a musician, the #1 in the world, and help deliver music to people. Horu thinks about his words, and realizes he himself doesn't have any wishes. Then, out of nowhere, a giant red robot attacks the city. The man inside, named Fire Candle, says he's here to become the #1 savior. And so, Natsumi decides that now's the time to transform into Kuwagata Oger. Just as fast as all that happened, Horu gets transported to a robot graveyard. There he sees mooks, who try to use a ring, but they get absorbed. This is where Bouquet introduces herself as a Bride-on commander from No One World. Horu understands the dangers of the ring, but he owes Susumi lunch, so he puts it on. Within the ring, Tegasword says they formed a contract and will grant any wish if he becomes #1. Horu says he is done with wishes, remembering a low point in life. No matter, Tegasword wants Horu to battle to the top. Horu must become #1. The villain and Horu face off in a ring. Ready, go! Horu successfully fends him off, then goes on to protect civilians by transforming into Goju Wolf. Horu howls, alerting others with rings just like his. After the battle, Horu pays back Susumi, and of course has a lot of questions, but first he says he wants to become #1. Susumi becomes upset, thinking Horu doesn't deserve the ring. Episode 2. Horu and Natsumi fight. A shot rings out, then Natsumi promises to be back. Will he though? Then a monster arrives, and so do a couple of performers. They have a quick fight and want to have a treasure hunt battle, which brings us to our main concept. #1 battle! But first, they introduce themselves. Bakugami Ryugi and Byakuya Rikuo. And so our heroes go out to search for treasure. Horu comes across a kid being bullied, but Horu is able to help, and he learns a bit of a lesson. Treasure isn't all gold. Of course, our other two heroes don't do well on the treasure hunt, but Horu ruins the whole thing and they all fight. Afterwards, Horu wakes up to the cafe he's staying in being renovated. It's now the Tegasword Cafe. Episode 3. Horu gets fired from yet another job, when Rikuo pops up out of nowhere and says the rings give them superpowers. Coincidentally, the Prime Minister is out saying Happy Sunshine. Happy Sunshine! while also publicly transforming. At the cafe, a mysterious woman explains how Prime Minister Tokonatsu has top-notch security, so they'll never get to fight him. Anyway, number 1 battle! Popularity contest. While out and about, Bouquet falls for Rikuo's charms. Same. Horu isn't sure how to become popular, so Prime Minister Tokonatsu gives some life lessons. There's a nice moment where Horu still doesn't get it, but he helps someone in his own way with his nose. It sounds weird out of context, but it's really neat. Of course, the politician turns out to be evil, which just makes him a regular politician. A big battle begins with the Red Rangers, a mecha fight between Bouquet and Rikuo, who she doesn't realize is the pop idol, and at the end, the Prime Minister wins. Tokonatsu explains that the mysterious woman is Ichikawa Sumino, his right-hand woman and a private detective. Then, a green GOZYUGER appears. He untransforms and is revealed to be an old man, Takehara Joji. Episode 4. He's 87 years old, and one day he found a ring on his plant. Joji wanted to live a fruitful life and live amongst the party people, so his ring turned him young. He's also going to school with his grandson. Moving on, we see Sumino stop a lawyer who's possibly tied to the disappearance of her sister. The lawyer transforms, and Sumino tries to transform too, but fails, so Prime Minister Tokonatsu defeats the ranger. Back to Joji, he's having a tough time connecting to the youth, especially his grandson. Then a monster of the week appears, starting a number 1 battle! Joji rescues his grandson, and Joji explains he wants to be a hero to help the party people. He'll also go by the name Kinjiro to hide his identity. At the end, the grandson admits he wants to go to art school. That's his real dream. Horu watches nearby, holding out a picture of his own family, paralleling Sumino looking for her lost sister. 5. A man waits for a date with Sumino, and she brings another man along. They kinda have fun, I think. What she really wanted was answers from them, because they've given testimony to a kidnapping case involving her sister Oto. Prime Minister Tokonatsu calls her for a talk, saying their relationship is mostly superficial, especially since she can't transform. Sumino goes to the cafe, wanting to join what she calls their club, but Rikuo is already wary. She immediately tells the others that she used to be a cop, until she got too close to the kidnapping case. Anyway, number 1 battle! I'd win this one because I love meddling. Sumino appears to be troublesome, only wanting to take the Sentai rings without caring for her supposed allies, but Horu sees her take care of a kid. She appears nicer on the inside because she cares for her young sister. With that, she helps out Horu and finds her resolve to transform. Afterwards, Sumino doubles down on finding her sister. The only clue she has so far is someone involved with gray eyes, kind of like how Rikuo once had. We begin episode 6 with Horu gardening on top of Tegasword. That's not important for now, as Prime Minister Tokonatsu was forced to resign since carrying the Don Momotaro sword violates firearm laws. That's crazy. Alright. After seeing that, the GOZYUGER see Tokonatsu has joined Brighton, switching from Prime Minister to Terrorist. That's even crazier. Okay, alright. So the GOZYUGERs go to beat him up, but before they do, they have to go through some trials. First is tag, then dodgeball, and playing house as seriously as they can. Fire Candle calls the team out to fight, except for Horu, who hasn't played house properly, so Tokonatsu plays with him. This brings back memories to Horu, who says that he and his brother were once thrown into No One World when they were young. They were saved by a woman. 10 years later, Horu found himself back on Earth, but he saw that his family replaced him. Tokonatsu set up these trials to get a feel for the kind of person Horu is, and they all pass the test. Horu and Tokonatsu fight together, as Sumino fights in her mech. After some fighting against Fire Candle, Horu challenges Tokonatsu to a duel. A single slash is all that's needed for Tokonatsu to lose all his rings, but Horu keeps his promise to be Tokonatsu's number 1 friend. A mecha fight continues, with a new giant robo making his grand appearance. Daijujin arrives with a cloak. However, Daijujin was supposed to be destroyed in the Universe War. The Red Warrior de-transforms, revealing... I don't know what that is. He visits the cafe and introduces himself as Ozai Meguru, a Sentai archaeologist. Ozai says the GOZYUGERs aren't acting like a proper Sentai, so he wants them to make food good enough to give his rings to. Anyway, number 1 battle! Rikuo and monsters have to raise up Sumino. Bouquet is here too. Ozai explains that the GOZYUGERs are the only ones with the full team, while the others only have a single Red Ranger. Wow, that's a nice bit of lore drop. I sure hope we get more of this later. Then Rikuo wins a Riz battle, but before the real battle begins, Rikuo and Sumino are told they have to work as a team, which means the GOZYUGERs do their first team transformation. And Ozai joins in. Some cool fighting later. And Ozai is shot. 8. A cloaked figure picks up Ozai's body and escapes. Back at base, Queen Tegojun is awakened and calls on ring hunter Gariyudo. He's been busy hunting other Reds, but his main prey is Goju Wolf. Oh, is this where all the off-screening happens? A man walks into the cafe to meet Horu. This man is his brother Kwan, who has his own company, Kwan AI Konzen. The two brothers enjoy their time together eating expensive sushi. Fun. The GOZYUGERs go out to fight, when Kwan holds out a transformation device, which Horu recognizes as the weapon that shot Ozai. Kwan admits he's always found Horu irritating, and hates how Horu believes in working together with the team, still wanting to be number one. Kwan tells Horu to fight alongside him, to turn predators into prey. Horu does what Kwan says, and fights the rest of the GOZYUGERs. Kwan also transforms. The GOZYUGERs fight, and we see that Kwan can summon other heroes, plus turning them into weapons. Meanwhile, Horu fights Fire Candle, and Horu is about to lose, but Fire Candle doesn't feel right about this, knowing something is off with Horu. After the battle, the GOZYUGERs are understandably upset about Horu's betrayal. They surround him, ready to take his ring, but Horu doesn't want to fight. He has no wish, so he throws away his ring. 9. Horu gets a job as a butler. He's not very good at it, but apparently he's getting rave reviews. His latest customer is Fire Candle, but Fire Candle doesn't notice that it's Horu since he's wearing a mask. Fire Candle doesn't pay for his food, so he's told he has to become the number one butler. Anyway, number one battle! Who's the best butler between Horu and Fire Candle? Fire Candle explains he doesn't really fight to become number one. He just loves the feeling of battle. This talk reignites a fire within him. Horu walks in on the GOZYUGERs getting walked on by Kwan, as the team tells him he has debts to repay them. Horu understands, and transforms back into Goju Wolf, and from inside himself, he gets a new weapon. Kwan's had enough and leaves the battle, when we get more heated drama between Horu and Fire Candle. Back at No One World, we see Kwan has a giant X on his back, and he mentions something destroying him, ending GOZYUGER Round 1, 10. We see that Ozai was taken over by Kwan and the Queen, since the Daijujin he controlled would be very helpful. Meanwhile, Sumino is working a part-time job. Kinjiro loves seeing how very Showa-era Sumino is at her job. Then suddenly, Showa no one appears and reverts back away from the Reiwa era. Anyway, number one battle! Man, I am old. Kinjiro loses, since he prefers to dial a phone like you do with a smartphone, not a rotary. Oh, I guess I'm not as old as I thought. I don't even do that. This makes Kinjiro realize he only thinks he wants to be young, but lives very much in the current times. He says he's neither Showa or Reiwa. So Showa no one watches Kaiketsu Zubat? That is so random. I mean, I'm not complaining. I love Zubat. Just cool. That's actually pretty neat. Sumino and Kinjiro show that living in the Reiwa era isn't bad, and has its own conveniences, like having actual merch and Uber Eats. I think I used Uber Eats once, and it came out to double the price of the actual food, so I'd never use it again. Very convenient, though. Then Rikuo fights a special guest, summoned by Bouquet, a black Daijujin. Neat. And so, Tegasword and Horu use the ninja ring to allow everyone to use a mech. Daijujin is defeated, and Ozai is saved. Oh, the thing on his eyes were glasses? Huh. 11. Rikuo is out practicing, when suddenly, Universe Warrior Sun Vulcan and Zyuohger arrive because her partners were infatuated with the idol. Huh? A certain cowboy watches from nearby. Back at the cafe, the team are given some brand new toys. The cowboy enters through those doors. The gentle sound of an ocarina is played by beast tamer Todoroki Gaia. Anyway, number 1 battle. Gaia says he's the number 1 beast tamer, but also the number 1 at tag. Tag no one escapes the battle, and we see that Gaia's motivation is to save someone named Runa. The battle continues, and Tag no one is defeated. However, the human from inside wasn't saved. Tag no one sheds their suit, and a one-horned monster is revealed, the same monster connected to Runa. 12. Gaia explains that Runa was his partner and fiancé. She fell off a cliff when a one-horned monster took over her body. Then Bouquet turned that monster into a no-one. While sitting down with Rikuo, Gaia also mentions that during a hike, Gaia nearly tripped when Runa sacrificed herself to save him. The GOZYUGERs face off against GOZYUGER when Gaia continues to aura farm. Rikuo arrives on Tegasword when he starts to sing Runa's song. The one-horned Oni was singing, and Rikuo overheard it. So with that power, Gao King is revived for advertising purposes, and Gaia is able to say one more goodbye to Runa. After the battle, Gaia gives a Gao Red ring to Rikuo. 13. This week's Monster of the Week is Manners No One. Horu is already of ill manners, and on top of that, they've all been violating traffic safety. This Red Racer Universe warrior is a maid who's here to take back Ryugi. She's Shoko and wants Ryugi to come back home, since he's an heir to the Bakugami family. However, Ryugi only cares about Tegasword and refuses his dad's words. Anyway, number 1 battle! I think I'm already getting annoyed by saying this so often. Sorry, is that bad manners? Remember kids, have good manners both online and offline. Then Shoko transforms. Ryugi wins the manners battle, but Shoko continues to want to return him home, although Shoko starts to feel a certain darkness within her. She powers up to a Bozoku style to rescue Ryugi by force. This is also where Keza screams because she loves, women. Episode 14. A news report shows Shoko going on a rampage. Ryugi explains to the team how his parents only saw him as an heir to the Bakugami family, like a doll in a house with no will of his own. One day, he found a book that talked of Tegasword, so Ryugi devoted his life to the toy. More importantly, Sumino only cares that Ryugi is rich. Same. The team try to lure away Shoko, where people won't get hurt, when Ryugi shares a memory of them at a young age. Shoko felt safe around him, so she wants to make him feel safe as well. Ryugi says Tegasword has made him strong, like a faith being used as a guiding light. Ryugi rescues Shoko from her inner darkness. Then Fire Candle and friends arrive for a fight. Ryugi and Shoko defeat Mr. and Mrs. Butterknife. Oh god, is this the first time I'm bringing them up? Whoops. They're Brydon generals alongside Fire Candle and Bouquet. They've been here since the beginning. I'm probably not going to mention them too often, but they are generals for the organization. Moving on, Shoko gives Ryugi her Car Ranger ring. 15. This episode aired in June, meaning that Tegajun's power has increased. That's crazy. Alright then. It's so tokusatsu, I can't help but to love it. Tegajun commands the others to bring her 3 special treasures for a ceremony. Bouquet explains that Tegajun is also searching for a destined pilot, much like how the GOZYUGERs can pilot Tegasword. Fire Candle looks for something inside a haunted house that Horu and Sumino are at. Mr. and Mrs. Butterknife look for Ryugi and Kinjiro's legendary strawberries. I said that with a complete face. Mr. and Mrs. Butterknife look for legendary strawberries. Tegajun explains she was created by humans in the image of Tegasword, and the no-ones are her children. She has Quan own an AI generation company, for similar reasons, to create much like she has. Tegajun creates a new weapon for Quan. I wish there was a cooler explanation for that, but it kind of just happens. Meanwhile, Fire Candle finds a fire candle. As for Bouquet, she looks for a flower at a garden that Rikuo is at. It goes as about as you expect. Bouquet's feelings are... Although, she does warn Rikyo that the world is about to change, but it's to make people happy. With that, Taegajun gets her 3 treasures and Kwon starts to attack the city. Kwon brainwashes civilians and uses them to summon Taegajun. The wedding is meant for Taegajun and Taegasword, but Taegasword says their marriage would end the world, and that's not what he wants. Both the mechs fight, but Taegajun is too strong, knocking the rangers out of their suits. Kwon welcomes the Prince of Destruction, as a new mech arrives from the sky, and the GOZYUGER rings disappear. That's how this world ends. 16. The true #1 savior. Tonohoru is working at a mundane job at a grocery store when a man tries to rob it, until another man in white appears and offers the robber money. The man in white rescues the store and says he's Godness Kumade Mashiro. He's here with the devil's collector, Bear Kuma. He gives Horu an invoice. Horu knew something was wrong and chases after Kumade, not agreeing to pay for the rescue services. Horu immediately gets his memories back and runs into Ryugi, dancing with the landlady. Sumino is not as high class, Riko is a huge nerd, and Kinjiro is, old. Horu talks with Taegasword, and of course, realizes everything is off. Brighton also feels how the world is different. Speaking of which, Kumade arrives and knows of Taegasword. Of course he does, cause Kumade was Taegasword's operator during the Universe War, and the original Goju Wolf. Huh? Kumade transforms into Goju Polar. The rivalry begins between Horu and Kumade. Taegajun and Taegasword's son, Prince Nagaru, arrives onto the battlefield, and Kumade immediately challenges it. Their son was born to be the Prince of Destruction, but Kumade offers to be his god and teach him about the world. Kumade then dubs him. The rest of the GOZYUGERs are back to normal and are ready to fight. Fire Candle and Goryburn are in a boxing match. Kumade says he'll continue gathering the rings, as his wish will be to be a real god. 17. The GOZYUGERs have a field day. Kumade explains that he fought in the Universe War 10,000 years ago, and was frozen. However, he was woken up by Goryburn? Or was it Bear Kuma? How did that work? Cause, is it Goryburn or Bear Kuma? If it was Goryburn, that would make no sense. If it was Bear Kuma, I gotta double check my script. Huh. Now Kumade wants to absorb the rings into his power and become a god. That's about all the main story for the episode, but I do like it. 18. Sumino walks into the cafe and, oh no, a mook is dead! Not the boyfriend of the week! Mystery #1 is here to set up his locked room mystery. Kumade also breaks in from the roof. Stuff happens. By the end, Kumade starts a mecha fight against Sumino, then with Horu. But here comes a new challenger. Moving on. 19. Horu gets fired. Again. Then he sees someone. Mine, his first love. The two go to the cafe and Kinjiro butts in, being too straightforward asking what their relationship is. Horu says they knew each other from the no-one world, then Mine asks Horu to go on a date. The other GOZYUGERs butt in themselves, but Mine is still having a good time. Horu and Mine take their date to a beach and have a picnic. It's a wonderful time. Until... Kwon shoots Mine, saying she was supposed to be dead anyway, so he gave her this short chance at life. I should have said shot as a pun. So he gave her this shot at a life. Oh dang, that's awful. With her dying words, Mine reminds Horu that she never wanted him to make a wish, but now that she's seen the kind of man he's become, Mine wants Horu to promise to find a wish. Horu gains a newfound resolve to make a wish, no longer falling for Kumade calling him second gen, and fights Kwon. Their fight escalates as Kwon summons the combined black Daijujin, which you can buy at stores. Horu and Kumade combine their mechas, as Horu proclaims himself to be Heartbreaker #1. At the end, Horu sits alone, remembering his promise to Mine, ending GOZYUGER Round 2. Yeah, for some reason the end of the world wasn't the end of a round. 20. We begin the final round with Sumino continuing the search for her sister when Gyaru #1 appears. Lady Otto, better known to us as Sumino's sister. After some fighting, Sumino confirms that Otto has birthmarks like her sister did, but Otto doesn't recognize Sumino. Meanwhile, Fire Candle is berated for not getting a ring yet, lol. Back with Otto, she teaches the team about Gyaru philosophy. During it, Otto explains that when she was young, she got into an accident, so her Sentai ring keeps her awake. More fighting and a Kumade cameo later, Sumino embraces the Gyaru style to be with Otto. Even if Otto doesn't remember her, Sumino is glad they spent time together. The no one is defeated, so Fire Candle makes his move and takes Otto's ring, transforming into... 21. Fire Candle shows his power. Then just leaves. I mean, same. Then a mysterious man with gray eyes kidnaps Otto. Days later, Sumino has gone missing. Anyway, number 1 battle! The team try to be festival number 1, but it appears they're losing their luster. Even Rikuo isn't feeling like his suave self, rejecting Bouquet's invite to walk around the festival together. Rikuo flashes back to his younger self being given something by a man named Rei. Then, Ryugi arrives to save the day, with a festival dedicated to Tegasword. He truly does save the day, to the point that Kinjiro wants the announcer to declare Ryugi the winner. The battle escalates, and Fire Candle goes into his mech, even summoning Shinkano. But through the power of friendship, Shinkano is no longer influenced by Fire Candle, and is used by the GOZYUGERs, though it was later revealed that Kumade summoned Shinkano himself. At the end, Sumino says she'll keep searching for her sister, no matter what. 22. It's summer! And Bouquet prays to Rikuo to protect Fire Candle. Same. Speaking of which, Fire Candle goes to disrupt a business. Then a Universe Warrior steps in. Anyway, Rikuo meets with Rei, who openly admits to kidnapping Sumino's sister. Huh? Anyway, number 1 battle! Anyway, Fire Candle joins their fight, and summons a little Scrimblow, turning into Super Shinken Red. Rikuo is here too. 23. Kumade explains the Orca booster that Fire Candle has makes the user go berserk, which we see when Fire Candle accidentally hits Bouquet. Meanwhile, the GOZYUGERs have a plan to bait out the Orca booster by putting Kinjiro in a seal suit. And it works. The fight continues to escalate as Fire Candle becomes a bigger monster. It's a Shinkenger reference, don't worry about it. Then the Orca booster is dropped, and Horu goes for it, transforming into... More battles and a new mecha fight later, Horu gets Fire Candle's rings. Plus, Bouquet assures Fire Candle, who even says Bouquet can hit him back to make up for earlier. This is so adorable, in a odd way. 24. A phantom thief is using Gokaiger's powers, and where there's crime, the police are right behind to catch a criminal. Sumino is told about the weird goings-on at a school, and why is Rikuo playing with a cactus? The GOZYUGERs decide to solve this mystery by enacting school life tropes. It's kinda cute. I actually like Horu enacting the delinquent trope. It's adorable. Coincidentally, Seiji Takaiwa is here too. I sure wonder who the Universe Warrior is gonna be in this arc. Well, aside from the Academy do-gooder. Lupin Red is revealed to be Seiji Takaiwa. Shocking, yeah. But the story is pretty cool. He used to be a principal for the school until Youth No One started brainwashing students. So Seiji Takaiwa used the Gokaiger rings to free the students. I said that as if, like, the real person, Seiji Takaiwa, has real superpowers. I mean, he might. I don't know. Anyway, number 1 battle! That wasn't the only No One monsters, as Grit No One appears, also revealing Lupin Red's identity. This screws with Patron Ichigo's own sense of justice, leading to 25. We get much more backstory of our Universe Warriors. Then our team has to take on trials to test their grit. Oh, I see Boon Booncher got off screen, huh? Man. Anyway, this is our number 1 battle. Normally I'd be more excited, but it's Lupad. We do get a neat scene of Universe Patron, Lupin, Ichigo, Red, Man transforming together, with Seiji Takaiwa referencing his past suit acting roles.
It is my turn to take over for a couple of these episodes. So, 26. We start with Hoeru saying how he's always been a loser, getting fired job after job. So he's gonna try his hardest with the next one. Hoeru is gonna work at Toei. Good luck. And we get the real producer for GOZYUGER, Sekimoto Kazu. This episode is basically a clip show. I could see why Marcos skipped this one and got me to do it. Then Hoeru gets fired.
Huh?
Once again. Moving on, 27. It's a bouquet episode. Kuon knocks her out and Kumade finds her, but bouquet has amnesia? Anyway, number 1 battle. The GOZYUGERs are invited to Kuon's company and we see Kirame Blue. Marcos would have really liked this one, but oh well. We also learn a bit more about Kumade and his obsession with money. The previous Goju Leon told Kumade take more responsibility. I think this is the only time we meet someone from Kumade's world, or a version of this world, so it's nice to meet one of his old teammates, but yeah, oh well. Kirame Blue also turns out to be Battle Japan?
English.
I mean, cool. Then he kidnaps Bouquet. Great! Episode 28. Kirame Blue sees that Bouquet was created purely by AI. The rest of the GOZYUGERs are captured and are shown their ideal worlds. Hoeru is able to escape the mind capture because he has no dream of his own. That's kind of sad, I'm not gonna lie. These are great insights to their characters. Oh no, complaints here. I really like these moments actually. Fire Candle gets through to Bouquet by showing her a picture of Rikuo, which Kirame Blue tears apart. So, Bouquet gets very angry, and rightfully so. How dare you? It's another great moment, not just for Bouquet's character, but her relationship with Fire Candle. You can tell they are best friends and have each other's backs. The GOZYUGERs are freed and fight Kirame Japan. In another cool moment, Bouquet fights Kirame Blue in their own mechs, and she gets the announcer this episode. I need more Bouquet moments just like this, please. Thank you. And I will toss it back over to Marcosatsu. Thank you so much for having me.
29. Ryuki dreams of Tegasword. Who hasn't, right? Anyway, number 1 battle. Meanwhile, Rei is found by Riku and Kumade, who just so happen to find him due to omnipotence. Don't question it. Rei uses his Calamity Ring to transform into Maji Ranger and Zenkaiger. Elsewhere, Ryugi sees the sadness from people, giving him one more reason to bring Tegasword. The world needs Tegasword. During a mecha fight, Bouquet realizes that Gojo Leon has Rikuo's mannerisms. Then Hospitality number 1 is defeated. And then, Ryugi challenges Hoeru to a one-on-one battle, since Ryugi found his resolve to fight for the rings. Of course, Hoeru wins because he has a power-up. And so, Ryugi leaves. His ring is then taken to the great beyond. 30. We see a man drink tea, and he manages to calm down some thugs. Kinjiro uses his impeccable ability to see and notice this man, Asamu, who has a Goju Tyranno ring. Prince Asamu is from the planet Asamaka. He loves tea and living royally. Anyway, is that mochi? Then Rei steals the Goju Tyranno ring. Kinda anticlimactic, huh? 31. Horu starts to feel sick, so he's taken to the hospital. Turns out it was just food poisoning from expired milk. Then they see Ryugi among the doctors. Although, Ryugi's father is quite serious and basically only sees his son as a doll, an heir to the Bakugami family. Oh hey, that's continuity from like 20 episodes ago. Anyway, number 1 battle! Then Ryugi comes back to the team. Also very anticlimactic. 32. It's a Mr. and Mrs. Butterknife episode. They break up. More importantly, Sumino tells the team that Rikyo is the gray-eyed man she's possibly been searching for. Rei was hospitalized years ago, then later kidnapped Otto. Sumino doesn't care about his backstory. She just wants her sister back. Meanwhile, Horu and Kinjiro try to split up Mr. and Mrs. Shining Sweet Cake Knife while listening to their backstory and cosplaying as them. It's pretty incredible. Okay, so a whole lot more happens as Rei summons a monster from the Calamity called Bellum. Kwon is here too. We also see that Mr. Shining Knife was affected by the Calamity and starts to take over the other half of his body, leaving Mrs. Sweetcake empty. 33. Kumade explains more about Calamity, which she's seen in episode 0. Fun stuff. Horu works as a delivery man and happens to come across his old home.
But you are my mama, Mom!
Tegasword awakens Horu, who gives him a brand new, or an old, rusty sword. Horu wakes up to his mom inviting him inside. His dad is there too, and Kwon. This is a trial by Tegasword for Horu to decide whether to live with the family he's always wanted, or continue fighting with his friends. Horu initially wants to stay with his family, but he ultimately decides to fight along Tegasword. The two pull out the sword to become... This battle is amazing. Then Bellum comes out and grows giant. So Tegajun, yes, actually Tegajun in a real suit this time, goes out to fight him, hating anything that has to do with the Calamity. Afterwards, Horu makes a delivery to his old home again, when his mom starts to realize she's seen him somewhere before. She invites him in, and Horu says yes, for another time. Wow, that's interesting. I sure hope this goes somewhere.
Nope, nope,
Nope, nope.
34. It's time for Rikuo's big thanks party. Meanwhile, Fire Candle, Bouquet, and Mr. Shining Knife confront Rei in this really long fight scene, and it's super cool. Rikuo's party was actually a goodbye party, as Rikuo wanted to face his rival alone, but of course, his allies are there for him. Okay, super random here. Asumu returns, brainwashed by Rei, and that's it? Neat, I guess. Anyway, number 1 battle! Rikuo and Rei have their big fight, until Sumino steps in to stop Rikuo, saying he'll regret losing someone so important in his life. Then Bellum is defeated. That was, fast. After all that, Sumino finds Otto. Mrs. Shining Knife wakes up from her nap. Asumu returns to outer space. Yes, really. And Rei is in prison. This all happened so fast in one episode. I guess 2 if you want to count, like, the Asumu stuff. 35. Sumino waits for Otto to wake up, but more importantly, Cards No One is in a slump, and this arc for the villains is really, really good. I'm honestly surprised by how good it is. We also get the Die Ranger Universe Warrior, and the action here is also pretty cool. It's a Kinjiro episode where he faces his old rival, who also wished to be young by the power of the ring. Number 1, hold on, are those cards AI generated? Did you guys know Toei actually sells Hanafuda cards? They could use their own real cards. It seems like way more work to AI generate these, print them out, probably make multiple prop versions. This episode was okay. 36. It actually leads into this episode, where Cards No One and Kinjiro's rival challenge the GOZYUGERs to an old maid battle. This episode was really good. Old Kinjiro is so cool. Still very upset about the AI-generated art though. 37. Tegajun has decided that it's time. Time for our new Bride-On General. 37 episodes in. Ribbon, Bouquet's sister. Then Kumade loses his jacket. Go! Winner! No, hey wait, these aren't the usual opening visuals. Anyway, number 1 battle! Oh yeah, I forgot Goody-Burn is a character. Hey wait, where was Sumino during all this? And how come there's no episode 38 preview? Wait! Oh no. Episode 38. Oh yeah, Kwon's still here. Almost forgot about him. He arrives just in time to make fun of Horu. Meanwhile, Bouquet's Rikuo shine is getting dusty because of her time with Ribbon. Back with Horu, he remembers someone named Mr. Koyo, who was his and Kwon's mentor in the No One world. Coincidentally, Mr. Koyo arrives to fight Kwon as a Universe Warrior. He also has a power-up. God, I love that suit. I gotta talk about Deca Ranger sometime. It's one of my favorite Sentai.
Psych!
Ribbon traps them all in a jail cell. Kumade is here too. There's really no explanation. He just says, hey, I'm here. So that wasn't really a joke this time. That was actually his explanation. He's here. Mr. Koyo explains that he saw Koan get brainwashed by Tegajun long ago, and is here to free them.
King, king, gong, gong.
That's very lowbrow humor, and I still find it funny. Anyway, trio transformation time. Once our heroes escape the cell, Koan attacks them. He reveals that he himself was never brainwashed. He truly wanted power all on his own. Okay, where was Sumino during all this? 39. Toei producer Sekimoto Kazu comes back on set for another clip show. My hate of clip shows aside, this is a really funny premise cause, well, again, that is a real producer, and hold on. Okay, now I'm wondering why there's a clip show this late. It's not really a normal thing for Toku, especially Toei Toku, to have clip shows this late into a show. And if there are any clip shows, it's usually around the halfway point, unless they needed the extra week for something. Huh. We start the final stretch of GOZYUGER with episode 40. Sumino says she went undercover and asked Tegasword to change her face, the side effect of which is permanent.
Unicorn!
Fuck. I'll get way more into this in the second half. Unicorn in the room aside, this episode has the GOZYUGERs infiltrate a haunted house. I just realized how many haunted house episodes there are in Sentai. Not that I don't like the premise, cause I do think they make for cool team-up moments like... Aw, my heart. And he gives her a brand new plushie! Oh my gosh. Those things are darn expensive as an American. I want a bouquet one so bad. Anyway, battle! Then Ribbon is defeated.
Wait a minute.
I had to take a quick pause. Yes, Ribbon is defeated this fast in just a couple of episodes. So Bouquet vows to defeat the blue Tegasword user when she realizes that Goju Leon is Rikuo. 41. Quan plays into Bouquet's revenge and tells her it's what Ribbon would have wanted. Anyway, lovers quarrel! Rikuo does start to reflect on what he's doing, as he truly did want to make Bouquet happy. However, Bouquet is blinded by revenge. A part I haven't mentioned in this episode is how Ryugi helped push Rikuo into wanting to be that idol who makes everyone smile, and that's still true here, admitting that Rikuo is the only one who can help Bouquet. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about the monster of the week. Oh well, it's probably not important. So, it turns out this is Creation No One. Tegajun's creator, also creator of the No One world. We don't know who they are. We don't even know their name. They are Creation No One.
Monozukuri no one!
We see her inside Tegajun. They steal Goody Burn. That's as far as we know. I'm not joking. 42. The Bride-on celebrate Tegajun's awakened power, as Bouquet continues to search for revenge. Then a portal pops up in the cafe. Rikuo immediately jumps in to rescue Bouquet. Meanwhile, Goody Burn is being treated like a baby. Then Horu and Kumade rescue Goody Burn. That was fast. Then at last, we have the battle between Bouquet and Rikuo. They share their sentiments, Rikuo understanding what it means to be alone and losing everything. He asks for Bouquet to reach out, if he's still in her heart. In another twist, Quan reveals he's found a weakness in Tegajun's programming, so he takes her power.
Huh?
As the GOZYUGERs barely escape back to Earth. 43. It's Christmas! Remember to put your Tegasword on the top of the Christmas tree. Meanwhile, Quan challenges Horu to a fight. Oh god, that green screen is so bad. But I get why they did it. At least the group transformation is cool. Kinda. And so, our team fight on while Tegajun is given a scarf. And this makes her, not mean. Merry Christmas, everyone. Quan admits he himself was always jealous of Horu's strength, and wanted power to beat him specifically. Fire Candle becomes upset that Tegajun no longer wants to fight, so he throws a tantrum, hitting Kwon. Anyway, it's Christmas time. Bouquet decides to join the GOZYUGERs. More importantly, don't forget to buy your Geki Ranger shoes and your very own Talking Kwon sword. 44. Oh, Kwon's actually staying around? Bouquet introduces herself, now on the side of the GOZYUGERs. This is so cute. Bouquet, just say yes. Just say yes. Then out of nowhere, Origa Red appears, not only to Aura Farm, but also to teach Horu how to become a true Red with... Is that Natsumi's ring? Apparently, Natsumi gave him the ring to pursue his own dreams. Promises to be back. Okay. Promises to be back. Alright. Promises to be back. Cool. Will he though? Coolio. Meanwhile, Fire Candle is growing into his own role as a main villain. Now that Tegajun is gone, Fire Candle wants to lead No One World. Then out of nowhere, Universe Warrior Ninja Red appears, played by the original Ninja Red. All the GOZYUGERs fight the Universe Warriors.
Ready, go!
And the day is kinda saved without needing saving, unless you count saving their camaraderie. Then out of nowhere, a calamity monster arrives. 45. Back at the cafe, Ninja Red Sasuke explains that Origa Red asked him personally to help Horu become a true Red leader. And so, through the power of food, Horu becomes a proper Red leader. What a great pair of episodes. No, I'm not being sarcastic, I actually really like these. 46. After the Calamity monster is defeated, Fire Candle eats him. I mean, it's only the next step, duh. Then the GOZYUGERs decide it's about time for the final ring battles, so they play rock, paper, scissors to decide who's fighting who. First is Sumino versus Kinjiro, but he doesn't want to fight, so Mr. and Mrs. Butter Wedding Knife Cake inspired him to be better. And we actually get some closure with Kinjiro as his family finds him, and Kinjiro teaches his grandson to chase his dreams. Kinjiro also finds an old photo, teaching himself what it truly means to be a party person. Since all we know of Sumino is that she cares for her sister, and clearly the focus was on Kinjiro, that means...
Gozu Unicorn!
Oh, Sumino wins. Cool. Kinjiro explains that living like a party person meant living for others, so he wanted Sumino to keep fighting for Otto. 47. Next we have Rikuo versus Ryugi. Apparently they've been fighting all day. Ryugi offers to be Rikuo's producer, much to Bouquet's dismay. This is so cute. Surely Bouquet will have a bigger presence outside this episode. Everything seems to be going well, until Rikuo starts having doubts in himself. If he reached a high point as an idol, then what? Rikuo expresses his doubts, which has Ryugi challenge him to a duel. This also has Bouquet cheer on Rikuo, just like the #1 announcer. I know I keep saying this, but man, this is just so adorable. I really like these two. And aside from that, I honestly also just couldn't wait for the fight, like... Oh, we don't get to see it. Rikuo continues to be an idol, as Ryugi reflects upon the blue ring. Then out of nowhere... the Calamity's leader, Rex, has arrived. 48. Then Kumade defeats him by sacrificing himself. Dude, I'm not joking. This monster that brought the end of Sentai, something I guess we were building up to, is defeated really fast. At least, Fire Candle gets a cool new suit. Okay, I know there's a little bit more to it. It is a whole 22 minutes long. Rex is able to erase people with the wave of his hand. Which is cool. That also means he off-screens Sumino. I say off-screen, but we get to see her in suit, unfortunately. And Kumade does put up a good fight. I really like this fight scene. After all, Kumade was actually building up to defeating the Calamity. Kumade ends up sacrificing himself, created an explosion that ends the last of our heroes, except for Horu. This makes Horu the last red standing. The final episode of GOZYUGER and the final episode of Super Sentai for now. Episode 49. Really? Not 50? Episode 49. Tegasword asks for Horu's wish, but Fire Candle steps in to challenge Horu to a duel. Fire Candle only wishes for a fight to go all out, which means destroying the rings. Until Kuon arrives to stop Fire Candle and comes back with Tegajun. Somehow, Horu picks up the rings and reflects back to his team, his friends. With that, Horu wishes to redo the ring battle. And so, one last time. Wait, where's Sumino? What the fuck? Well, it's time for the final transformation. And they're not alone, as previous universe warriors arrive. Hey, where's Otto? Still sleeping? But the rings are back, they can explain— never mind. Horu and Fire Candle have their final battle, though Horu wants to make it quick, cause he has a job interview tomorrow. The team send out their finisher, and of course, this is nothing without Polar Jesus. Fire Candle admits defeat, impressed on how they finally became a team, though Horu doesn't want to defeat him. Instead, Fire Candle can be his #1 brawling buddy.
He's just tired.
Kumade also explains that he himself became a god, and he has a little angel. Back in No One World, Fire Candle sits alone, mostly alone, as those left consider coexisting with the human world. Fire Candle hesitates, feeling like he's too far gone now, but Bouquet says they can work together because they're friends. 1 year later, Kumade says Horu won the ring battle again, but it's a good ending because Otto has woken up. Rei is slowly recovering, happy that Rikuo has become an idol. Kinjiro stayed young, and Ryuki is still working at the cafe with Tegasword. Polar Jesus asks if Horu finds this world worth living in. Horu says. And so, Kumade arrives with a large plate of wieners. Then Kumade remembers to what Horu said. And that's how Super Sentai ends, with a big plate of wieners.
Cool, coolio.
But wait.
There's more!
We also have the final handoff. Not between Sentai Reds, but between you, the viewer, and Gavan Infinity. Now for the review portion. Keep in mind, I just call it how I feel with little consideration. I'm only technically a critic, okay? So, as always, your opinion matters more than mine. Okay, so there's a lot to consider when talking about the last season of Super Sentai before its hiatus. I kept asking myself, how should I even discuss this? Should I have watched more Sentai? Made more Sentai videos? Should I solely look at this as GOZYUGER standalone? Or make it a big send-off for all of Super Sentai? Well, hey, if Sentai's send-off is through a darn versus movie with Bunbunger, then I can make a separate video too. And I did. Link in the description. With that, I'll be looking at GOZYUGER mainly as a show by itself. Of course, I'll be bringing up a couple behind-the-scenes issues as well. Starting off, the premise and backstory are really cool. A mecha battle to save the world, followed by a universe war over rings, and the #1 winner gets a wish. I'll never get bored by Battle Royale type stories cause they always lead to interesting interactions and characters. And GOZYUGER seemed like it was going that way. Then it throws a lot of it to the side. It feels so weird that we have all these episodes and a majority of the universe battles are off screen. Yeah, I get that it would be difficult logistic-wise to get all these actors for single episodes along with all those action scenes and planning, not even to mention trying to balance focus on the main cast and main story. It is a lot. I just wish it was possible since this is the darn main premise and you have 49 episodes. Well, would it not have been possible? We still have Monsters of the Week. Why not trade those for Reds of the Week? For being the final Sentai until its hiatus, Toei seems to be playing it really safe with GOZYUGER. And while I respect it for being consistent, I still wish it was different. I know, I shouldn't be reviewing this for what it's not. It's just a simple wish of mine. Wish. What we did get is also kind of a mess. Yeah, the entire premise wasn't the only thing that felt like it was half-baked. A lot of plot points had very interesting setup, but the wrap-ups seemed abrupt, as if the writer didn't know how to end those arcs. Tegujun was a great presence throughout the show. She brought the end of the world, had a neat plan to get everything her way. Then her creator's introduced, who we still know nothing about, and all of this ends with her being given a scarf. Same with Kuon. He's a rival pseudo-ranger. He seemed menacing, had a great backstory along with Houru. There was a great twist with Kuon not being brainwashed, and he might have been a cool final boss, but then he gets shot and suddenly turned into a sword to protect Houru. There's that single episode where Garo appears to give more backstory and cool lore, but then he gets hospitalized and we never hear from him again. I'm rolling my eyes when I'm saying this. A lot of Universe Warriors are like that. The rest of the team also have similar cool backstories with neat setups, but then the final couple episodes happen and, well, that's all. I think the worst of it is with Sumino. Her searching for her sister, looking for the gray-eyed man. That was great setup. I was legitimately excited to watch every week to see where this goes. It wasn't, bad, because ironically, Sumino's story is probably the most fleshed out and had some of my favorite moments in the show. Actually seeing Otto transform, having Fire Candle become Shinken Red, plus a later plot point of Rei kidnapping Otto to further both Sumino and Rikuo's stories. It's the closest I felt to a full-on arc. Then unfortunately, we had a big controversy with Sumino's actress, Maya Imamori. Her agency, Seiju, unexpectedly fired her for underage drinking. Some people online are pushing this further, saying that Seiju was pressured by tabloids to find a way to fire Maya for reasons someone smarter than me can dive deeper into. Fact of the matter is, despite different cultural ways of thinking, underage drinking is still very illegal in Japan and Maya was fired. I've seen way too many people just stop there and grandstand, saying she broke the law, she got what she deserved, and her agency was right to fire her without warning. But see, this is where the natural human emotion called empathy and sympathy come in. Yes, what she did was bad, but she didn't deserve just to get thrown out. With how immediate the reaction was, I personally believe Seiju failed her. It seemed like the poor girl needed help, on top of tabloids constantly writing about her. My heart goes out to her, and I hope Maya has a better future. What happened, and for once, I can't fully blame Toei because they were just as blindsided by all this happening. Episodes were filmed with Imamori, but when she got let go, Toei had to scramble to replace and refilm what they could, right around the time they are already filming the last episode. In her place, we got Kohaku Shida, who previously played Oni's sister in Dawn Brothers. While I actually do like what Kohaku brings to the role, you can also seriously feel the awkwardness. Not just around the actors, but the storylines and editing. Sumino's story isn't taken that much further, even during her battle with Kinjiro, where it probably would have mattered the most. Imamori is edited out very badly, usually cropped out or only appearing in suit with a different voice actress. Kohaku Sumino is also rarely in the same room physically as the others. Sometimes she's just green screened in. Again, I do like Kohaku, and she is trying her best, especially in times like this. Some of her Oni sister personality is there, and I don't think it clashes with Sumino. The show and the character just suffer because of the behind the scenes issues. And again, it sucks because Sum could have easily become a great character for me, but I'm also not going to sacrifice quote-unquote the character for a real person who really should have been treated better. On is Houru. In one video I mentioned that I liked him, but now that we reached the end, I take it back, I don't like Houru at all. His dream of finding a dream is neat, and that's probably what carries the most thematically for him. It's what I mentioned before that keeps bringing everything down. It's the point where I said that for every cool idea, there's a terrible execution. Kinda wish they weren't answered at this point, because none of it felt satisfying. I also don't normally touch on bad acting since I understand these are many actors' first gigs, but Houru's is probably the most noticeably bad I've seen in my many years of watching tokusatsu. Really sorry about that, it's just super noticeable. I'm constantly bringing up the bad executions, because whenever these ideas take an extra step, it's usually good steps. The easiest thing to point out are the Universe Warriors' involvement. Tokonatsu becomes a semi-reoccurring character. Gaia is just incredible for the 2 episodes, or 3 episodes he's in. The Sentai historian had so much lore to him. Origa read and Sasuke stole the arc they were in. Even the one-off reads are kinda neat for the one sentence they get. Dude, I wanna learn more about these guys. Then the issue comes back to me saying, I think they're cool because we don't know much about them. It's the same reason why I say secondary Kamen writers shouldn't be primary writers. They're cool because they're the secondary. Their story is mostly the secondary to the primary. So if we got more with the Reds, I don't know if the show would be better for it, or if I just wish it was better for it. It's all very conflicting. Though it's probably because there's just so many negative points that I'm digging for something more. Like I'm digging and digging for those diamonds, but I never get there because they probably aren't there. Dang, man, it's like, okay, I guess I'll be blunt about it. GOZYUGER is such a mess. For every cool thing it introduces, something horrible comes just as fast. This show is awful, and I love it. Okay, going off script here. Normally this would be the part where I say, join me next time for yada yada yada. But at the time of this video, the story of Super Sentai series has been going backwards, and that was very much on purpose. I mean, it's not like I accidentally uploaded this video or anything. So at the time of this video, the story of Sentai series is not done, and I will continue to do them until we reach Go Ranger. There will be a couple of stops where I go a little bit more in depth in these shows. For example, the Cure Major one also had a bit more production info, and I'm planning on doing that again for a few of my favorite Sentai, such as Go Busters, Go Kaiger, ToQger, and I might even do the Die Ranger one again. Why not? So again, Super Sentai may be going on hiatus for now. I still can't wait to talk more about Super Sentai. With all that being said, join me next time as we enter a new era, a new project with Super Space Sheriff Gavan Infinity.